everybody. This is Trucker Gerald coming at you from beautiful, hot, humid, wet, nasty Mobile, Alabama on a hot July day. Just wanted to welcome each and every one of you to my channel. Hope you enjoyed my first video about the lease purchase. My second video today is going to be about recruiting tactics of trucking companies. If any of you have ever been a victim of a recruiter being less than truthful, this video will resonate with you. In my career over many, many years, I have worked for a lot of trucking companies, and each one of them, when you go to work there, you deal with a driver recruiter. Out of the, say, 12 companies, 13 companies I've worked for in my life, I've only met 2 recruiters that were honest. And that's a sad state of affairs. No wonder there's such a turnover in this industry. It's a sad state of affairs, friends. You know, you go into the truck stop and they have these books with all these advertisements in them and whatnot that say, you know, oh, well, take up to 52 cents per mile, or up to including, or plus bonuses, or the top 10% of our drivers earned $75,000 last year, or our average W-2 for the year was $65,000. Well, you have to ask yourself, number one, where are they coming up with these averages? And number two, if the top 10% of the drivers are making said money every year, then you need to ask yourself, or ask them, how long have the drivers been there? And what is their rate per mile in comparison to what you're going to start out at? It may not seem that deceptive, but it's pretty deceptive. And then they have these bonus structures, you know, where you have to meet this and that, this criteria, and if you're just, you know, 200 miles short of getting that quarterly performance bonus, you lose 4 cents a mile. Well, I want to tell these trucking companies a little something. Pay a driver a high wage to start with and get rid of these ridiculous bonus programs. You know, you hire somebody to do a job, they should perform. You shouldn't have to give them the incentive to perform. If they're not performing, can their asses. Excuse my French. You know, they say drivers are expendable, but good drivers are not expendable, and a lot of these companies are missing the boat because they get these good drivers over there, and then they try to beat them out of every dime they can get out of them, and it's not fair. It's not fair to the people that recruited them. You know, it's a sad state of affairs, my friends. And you know, just like these up to deals, you know, it's a sliding mileage pay scale. The shorter the load, the more you get paid per mile, but in the end, if you average it out, if you run a bunch of those short loads, you're not going to have as many miles at 52 cents as you would have had running 3,000 miles at 40 cents. It just isn't going to happen. So this is something that I'm really passionate about because I have been deceived so much in this industry. I've been deceived by these lease purchase programs. Now, part of it's my fault. A lot of them I knew what I was getting into. But a lot of it wasn't my fault. You know, when I went to Jim Palmer Trucking, I went based on all the information that I was given by one of their recruiters at the Dallas Truck Show. I was in a pretty good lease purchase with Dart Transit, but I was promised about $2,000 more a week in revenue than what I was making at Dart. And that never came, it never happened. I was promised that their average is $5,000 $5,000 a week in revenue. And I was even shown settlements from different drivers, stating that, they were making $5,000 a week in revenue. And it's funny because I asked the recruiter, I said, okay, I need to make $5,000 a week in revenue to cover these higher truck payments and what have you. And it's amazing that they came up with settlements that had exactly $5,000 a week in revenue on them. So, I knew the second weekend I made a mistake. I stuck it out there for 90 days, and then it just came to the point where it just wasn't worth it anymore. I stayed out 6 weeks and went home for 4 days, and I came back out of the house, and I was $2,100 in the arrear. And then you come out, you're making a low revenue, and you might be netting $1,200 a week, but when you come back out of the house after taking those 4 days off, your next 2 weeks you're driving for free. And it's terrible. And a lot of people fall into this trap, and I'm just making this video to make you aware of kind of what these companies do. Another thing is home time. When you sign on with these companies, you need to make sure you know what their home time policy is. If they say that you get home every weekend, you better make sure it's not just for a 34-hour restart. If you think you're going to get in on Friday and come back out on Monday, you better make sure that that's what their policy is. Another thing is there's some companies that hold strictly to this program of, you're out sick, you get 1 day off for every 6 days that you're out or whatever, however it works. So you're out 3 weeks and you get 3 full days off. But I'm going to tell you something, a lot of these companies have a habit of doing this. They get you, they have a habit of, on the day that you're doing the house, there's a particular company that I work for out of Shelbyville, Tennessee that on your day home, if you're home before midnight, on the day that you ask to be home, they're going to run you on a bunch of short hauls, running local trailers, drop this here, drop this there, and when you're on e-logs, I've had it happen more than one time, they run you out of hours, and you end up having to take a 10-hour break. Say you got in on Friday afternoon, you don't get home till Saturday morning. So essentially, they've just beat you out of several hours of your home time. So you got to be very clear. Another thing you need to be clear on is how they pay their per diem pay. Some companies do it by the mile. I know of a certain company that just pays the driver a certain amount per day that they don't get taxed on. You need to get that clear, and you need to make sure when they're quoting you these cents per mile, you need to find out how much of that money is per diem or non-taxed money. You need to get clear on what your benefits are and when these benefits start. Basically what I'm saying is you do not want to fall into the trap of these recruiters. And I'm telling you, you need to ask questions. You need to ask questions. You can't ask too many questions. And then once you decide on a company, you need to sit back and think about it. I'm a Christian man. I say sit back and pray about it. Make sure you're making the right decision. Because if you're not, every time you change jobs, it costs you in lifetime earnings an average of $5,000 a job change. You don't want to sit and make sure, this is a big one, make sure that you're telling the truth when you go to work for these companies. I've seen it before. They schlep somebody up to their orientation 20 hours on a Greyhound. They haven't even run your background checks yet. They just maybe might have pulled your DAC, your PSP, and your MVR, and they haven't even run your background check. You need to ask them before you even set foot on that bus. You need to to ask them, hey, has everything been cleared? Have you contacted all my previous employers? Because I've seen it where these orientation classes start out with 60 people on Monday, and they're down to 11 by the end of the week. So, because people, were not completely truthful on their applications. So, and it's a waste of your time, and it's a waste of the company's time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut this video short at about 10.5 minutes. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to it, share it. I want you to check out some other videos. Some friends of mine, check out the Trucker's Coach, check out Red Viking Trucker, and check out Jeffrey Light on the videos. Check out Ike Stevens, Little Dog. These people are all good sources of information besides myself. And get over there. Check them out. Give them a thumbs up if you like what they have to say. Give them a thumbs down. Leave them a comment. Most of them like constructive criticism. Anyway, this is GG coming at you. Hope you have a good weekend, everybody. And drive safe. God bless. And I'm 1010 and back quiet.